Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'll be ranking the best Ranger subclasses in Baldur's Gate 3 on a tier list. Now, Patch 8 brought us the new Swarmkeeper Ranger, and I'll be breaking down how it compares to the other subclasses of Ranger in this video, first starting off with the Beastmaster. I'll do a brief overview of all of them. So the Beastmaster comes with it and Ranger's Companion here. You got 5 different choices. 2 of them stand above the others in terms of their effectiveness, and they come with completely different builds on how you're going to play with them. The Gloom Stalker, arguably one of the best because it's so front-loaded. You get an extra attack on the first round of combat. You get a +3 to your initiative, which is huge because this game uses a D4 initiative die, pretty much guaranteeing you'll go first. You also get increased movement speed by 3 meters, and that extra attack you get for free, mind you. It's not an action attack, it's a free attack. It gets a 1d8 extra damage. You also get Dark Vision up to 24 meters. You get the Dread Ambusher Hide and Umbral Shroud and Disguise Self, and later on you get some good spells as well. The Hunter gets the Hunter's Prey. It's kind of a weaker choice early on, but late game you get to very powerful volley attacks, which can be pretty powerful with specific gear. And the Swarmkeeper gets their gathered swarm of either the bees, which can do piercing damage and push the enemy away from you, jellyfish, which can do lightning damage and shock the enemy, or the moths, which can do psychic damage and blind the enemy. I'll first start off though with the Beastmaster Ranger, as it gets the Ranger's Companion here. As you continue to level up, you do get some more abilities here too alongside them. So like at level 5, you get your extra attack, but also your companion's bond. So your bond with you and the animal grows stronger. Your proficiency bonus is added to its armor class and damage rolls. So that can be a +4 to their overall AC, which is great. It's level 7 when you get the exceptional training, allowing them to dash, disengage, and help as a bonus action. So you can pick up your downed allies as a bonus action, which is great. Do you have any downside to this class? Similar to the Hunters, they don't get their best ability till level 11. If it was level 10, that'd be a little bit better because then we can multi-class the fighter and take 2 levels for action surge. But we get the Bestial Fury here, giving them the extra attack. This is actually a really good ability, and I'm going to show you why. So the Ranger Companion, you got 2 good options between either the Bear or the Dire Raven. I prefer the Ravens, but we'll start with the Bear to go over why the Bear is good. The Bear is tanky, and it can do a few useful things for you in combat. Most notably early game, if you want to steal the sword from Voss, you can use this Bear with a nose piercing to use the Honeyed Paw, which can potentially disarm the target, which is great. You can use the Bear to give yourself a overpowered sword in Act 1. But that's not really the point of it. It's meant to disarm the enemy, knocking it prone. The Goading Roar it's actually a pretty good radius, 9 meter radius. You can use this, and this will goad all enemies in that area into attacking it. It doesn't always work the best, I found, but it can work sometimes. You'll see the Bears typically do draw more aggro than the other characters because they're going to have the 18 AC, and you're probably going to have a higher armor class on some of your other characters. But they do get the Ursine reinforcement, so the Bear can summon in another Bear. It has 99 health, it has 39, but you don't get to control this Bear, but the thing is, you can also apply aid and all your other healing buffs, Hero's Feast, to this Bear too, to give it an extra, give your team an extra edge. But I don't think that that's the best choice. The Ravens are a little bit better. So with the Raven, the reason that I think that they're so good is because while it has less health, it can also summon in 2 other Ravens to help out. So these are great. You don't get to control them either, but they can blind the enemy. And blind is exactly why this Raven's so good. But it has a very special condition that you can't use any other way in this game with the fly. So let's put in the turn base to showcase why fly is so good. So it has a little darkness pocket there. So wherever you fly, you're going to land and create a little pocket of darkness. And then what you can do is use more of your movement speed and create another pocket of darkness. And then create another pocket of darkness. Darkness in this game, if you don't know, is extremely powerful because with darkness, you break the enemy's line of sight so they can't cast spells through it, they can't do melee attacks through it. They are pretty much screwed. So you can pop this down multiple times, creating a ton of darkness. This is one of the most effective ways to do it because this lasts for 2 turns, similar to an Arrow of Darkness, but you don't have to expend any resources. Now, another reason that the Raven is so good is on top of this, you also get to use your Rend Vision twice. So whenever you're in turn-based, we'll I guess showcase it in turn-based mode, with the Raven, since you got your extra attack at level 11, you can do 1 Rend Vision, which can blind enemies, which is super useful. And if you have someone with the Ballast Armor, it'll also double their damage. Then you can blind another target, so 2 targets blind, also blinding them with the darkness. That's why I think the Raven is actually the best choice here. This makes for a real Gloom Stalker, because with the Raven, you can have that whole area of darkness. You do need to utilize specific items if you want to make the most of this. So unfortunately, you can't take the 2 levels of the Warlock for Devil's Sight. Again, that's why I said 10 levels would have been much better, but Steel Watcher Helmet gives you the ability to not get blinded. There's the Eversight ring you can get in Act 2. You can't be blinded with that either. And then also the Sharp Spear of the Evening gives you immunity to blindness, and you can also set up your own darkness with that. So if you're going to utilize the Ravens, make sure you have one of those pieces of gear, and you can shoot from the darkness. It's extremely powerful how strong that build really is. So yeah, I personally think that the Ravens are a good choice here. It isn't the most powerful build, I don't think, in the game, but honestly, those Ravens, with how powerful Darkness is, makes it a pretty good choice. I'm going to throw it into the A tier here, and yeah, I just think that it is a pretty effective choice overall if you want to go all the way to level 11, especially if you like the idea of like a summon-based setup. It's funny, we actually keep our extra bonus bear there, so that's kind of cool. Now, it's better than 1, 2, or 3 pets, 100 of them. With the Swarmkeeper, that's what you get. So, the Gathered Swarm, I would say the best part about this is the cool particle effects. I like to add the flurry of moths, though the blindness from the moths is kind of weird because it only lasts for 1 turn. So if you apply the blind on an enemy and then it's their turn next, they remove the blindness. So it's only for you to get advantage on your attack rolls. The bees can push back the enemy, which is nice. But the cool thing is the lightning, piercing, and psychic damage can all be doubled in damage, which is pretty nice. But the big thing with the Swarmkeeper is you also get to do an additional 1d6 damage against targets with Hunter's Mark, which is really good. Hunter's Mark is one of the best ways to get damage early game, but also Mage Hand. You can use this to throw water bottles to set up your cold sorcerers, so any lightning or lightning or cold damage will be doubled. And you can also use a Mage Hand to throw healing potions, making them pretty effective. And you get Fairy Fire, which is okay. As mentioned, I love the particle effects, so here's what the Flurry of Moths looks like. And here's the Clouded Jellyfish. I really like this one too. I think this looks awesome. I guess another thing is once you get level 5, you get the Web spell, which unfortunately has a concentration on it. So this is something you're not likely going to use, but it can, if you don't have Featherfall, you can cast Web and you can jump onto it. Kind of same idea. And here's the bees, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, the bees are pretty chaotic in how they look. Once we hit level 7, however, we get the Writhing Current, Writhing Tide, which uses a Writhing Current charges. So you can condense part of your swarm to give you flying speed of 3 meters. And this will also protect you from surface effects. So that's a pretty nice ability there. Also, Spike Growth is a great spell that you can get from this because you won't get harmed. And yeah, we also get the Gaseous Form here at level 9. This is a spell you're likely never going to use, but sometimes it's nice to be able to fit through small locations. And level 11 gives us our Mighty Swarm. Now it goes from 1d6 damage to 1d8. Its special attack is one additional feature, and teleporting you with your swarm increases your armor class for the rest of the round. That's pretty nice. But yeah, it doesn't hold up compared to the others. The nice thing is you get that Writhing Tide protecting you from surface effects for 10 turns, so you can step on your little bugs there to keep you safe. You do get those 9 meters of movement speed, which is nice. And also, if you're in combat, you get the extra armor class. Web is a cool spell, but it's one that's almost not useful sometimes. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Unfortunately, my web broke there, so that ended my concentration. Web is a very tricky spell to get good usage out of, but that's why I'm talking about Mage Hand, which is a great spell because despite lasting for only the 10 turns there, you can use it free action, drop a health potion. But overall, the extra 1d6 of damage, eventually 1d8, and the extra Hunter's Mark damage, I wouldn't say is even as good as going with like the Beastmaster Ranger. So yeah, all things considered, I don't think the Swarmkeeper is as good as some of the other subclasses on this list. So I'm going to throw this one into the B tier. Get it? B tier? Swarm of bees. Now, one thing the Ranger is not great at is multi-classing, because for the Beastmaster, you really want to take it to level 11. Same with the Hunter. The Swarmkeeper, I mean, you kind of want to take it to 11 for that bonus to the extra damage and the Writhing Tide. Gloom Stalker is the only one that differs. You can take it to level 11 or 12 here, but it is so front-loaded, you could take 3 levels of it or 5 levels of it and be perfectly fine. So the Gloom Stalker, again, gives you that +3 to initiative at extra attack that does an extra 1d8 of damage and additional 3 meters movement speed on the first turn of combat. Disguise Self, which Disguise Self actually lets you take advantage of the Githyanki weapons because you can disguise yourself as a Githyanki, equip it, remove the disguise, you keep all the benefits. And once we hit level 5, we get an extra attack, but a really big ability here is Misty Step. This is so good. Now, there's only a few ways to get Misty Step outside of being a caster, like the Oath of Vengeance Paladin gets it at level 5, and the Gloom Stalker gets it at level 5. They're both offensively powered classes, and what I think is best about this is it gives us some extra mobility here that you would typically, if you took the Swarmkeeper, you'd get that mobility there. Now, not everyone always takes this to level 7, but you get the Iron Mind here, which is really good. You get proficiency in Wisdom and Intelligence saving throws, so a +4 to Wisdom saves, very important because wisdom saves can completely mess you up your game if you do not land those. So that's things like hold person and command. They also get the spell Fear at level 9, which is a great spell because it makes enemies drop everything. You can pick up their weapons, take it from them. It's actually better than a lot of the other spells here, and it's an illusion spell, so if you're the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel, you can cast it as a bonus action. Now, the Wasteland Wanderer, it's kind of a side note, always good to take the extra damage reductions there, but our level 11 ability is actually pretty good too. I wouldn't recommend taking it all the way to this level to get it, but you get the Stalker's Flurry. You're swift enough to turn a miss into a new strike. When you miss with a weapon attack, you can make another weapon attack for free. Just a huge boost to our damage, because if you miss, it's a free attack that doesn't take any resources. So that's obviously really good. But as mentioned, I'll talk about a couple of the different builds we want to utilize for this. Since the Gloom Stalker is so front loaded, sometimes it's best just to take it to level 5, because you're going to get obviously things like Spike Growth, your Fine Familiar, Misty Step, and then you can add in 4 levels of the Fighter, give yourself the Battle Master, which gives you Riposte, so you got a bonus, or you get a reaction attack that you can use. You also get some abilities from the Battle Master, and then you can add in the Assassin Rogue, which has a lot of benefits as well. Or if you prefer, the Rogue Thief for the extra bonus action. If you got a hand crossbow, that means an extra offhand crossbow attack. So it's best to take the Gloom Stalker to level 5 and mix in the Fighter, the Barbarian even for the extra armor class boost. And yeah, honestly, this still, regardless, is going to be the strongest Ranger subclass just because it's such high burst damage. Getting that extra attack in your first round of combat, especially if you got the assassin abilities from the Rogue, which sets up extra critical hit chance, it's really, really good. But even so, if you take this to level 12, I just previously did a build guide on a level 12 Gloom Stalker Ranger. It's great because that extra ability to land an attack that you missed is such a good ability. You're not always going to miss, but if you take Sharpshooter, it can really give you a nice boost to your overall damage. So yeah, the Gloom Stalker, honestly, the best subclass for the Hunter or the Ranger. I had Hunter on my mind, which is funny because I named my cat after the Hunter subclass. But you get the Hunter's Prey here. So this isn't the best ability. You get the Colossus Slayer. So once per turn, your weapon attack deals an additional 1d8 damage if the target's below its maximum health points. Pretty good. So you always want to be targeting those that are already damaged. The Giant Killer. So whenever you take this, if it's a larger, bigger creature attacks you, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack. This is good, kind of like a riposte, but it has to be a larger or bigger creature. And the Horde Breaker, which is my personal favorite, allows you to attack 2 targets right beside each other. So that's obviously really nice. In the range one, you have to have 2 targets right beside each other too. That's pretty good for a level 3 ability. But it's their level 7 defensive tactics that I think is a bit better. So you can get opportunity attacks against you, have disadvantage, meh. The Steel Will, advantage on saving throws against being frightened, or the multi-attack defense. So if an enemy attacks you, they have a -4 penalty to attack rolls against you until the start of the next turn, which is actually pretty good because if there's a target, they're likely going to attack you twice. So this basically means that the second attack is much less likely to hit you. It's almost like a 20% less chance of it getting to attack you, so that's great. And once we make our way to level 11, we get the Whirlwind attack. Has a very cool animation, and also volleys. So you can use this. There's a little synergy I'll talk about that can be really effective here. If you have a teammate with the Drake Throat Glaive, you can take the elemental weapon here, apply the cold damage to your bow, and then as yourself here, if you utilize the Snowburst Ring, you can create ice surfaces below the enemies whenever you attack them. Our bow will now do ice damage whenever we, or cold damage whenever we attack. So then you can go ahead with a volley, which has that huge area of effect, shoot it at targets, and then you're going to create ice surfaces below them. So that can be pretty fun. It also works too if you got the Horde Breaker there. So even earlier, you can also get some extra damage off on enemies. Not having the greatest hit chance there, but whenever you do this, you're going to see that we're making ice surfaces below the enemies there. We can't target our allies with this, but it's somehow working on certain things. But yeah, you'll create ice surfaces below the enemies, and that becomes pretty crazy. But overall, the Hunter versus the Beastmaster, I actually think the Beastmaster wins out a little bit just because the Ravens are so powerful and it turns the action economy. Baldur's Gate 3 is interesting where the more actions you have on your turn, the better typically, because if you can reduce the enemy's actions, you end up winning. This game has very quick combat, and I think the Beastmaster with the Ravens being able to set up a really defensive ability with setting up darkness for your whole team, you do have to strategize your team around that, so you'd probably best to take a Hexblade Warlock. But I would say the Hunter is just a slight hair lower than the Beastmaster Ranger. So we're going to leave it at that. It is nice, obviously, getting the volley attack because you can hit multiple enemies at a time. But volleys, it's kind of like Conjure Barrage almost in a sense. Yeah, it's a great ability, but there's better abilities out there. The Ranger, as I mentioned, is like a B tier class. So there's my tier list of the best subclasses. Obviously, Gloom Stalker is very strong. If you're watching this and you skipped ahead to the end to see where I rank these, go back and watch them. I'm sorry if you like the Swarmkeeper Ranger a lot, but I had my reasoning for ranking it where I did. And yeah, I honestly think the Beastmaster Ranger could be a potential S tier, especially if you're utilizing Darkness, because Darkness is so good in this game. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you all in the next video.